feel in the audience. How many people here have children under the age of 5? Do you have any little ones? Okay. How about between 5 and 10? Okay, 10 and 18. How about over 18? How about any grandparents? Any grandparents? Okay. So, we're going to spend a little time this morning, I guess, talking about our favorite subject, which is our children, and talking about how character, attitude, effort, ethical core, things that I know Columbus Academy is working on. So first of all, and I know as we talked yesterday, I talked with John yesterday, we knew that the people coming to this workshop, in a sense, as they say, the cliche, preaching to the choir. Because obviously, this is important enough for you to achieve whatever plans you had and be here. But I think more importantly, I think the people in this room, you have to see yourselves as leadership parents in the school. We're trying to react to the culture out there, which I think is pretty screwed up in terms of preparing our kids for life. So we're going to talk about these priorities. I'm just going to put them up here. My husband and I, about 10 years ago, we wrote this book. At the time, we were like most people. You had your children, and all your priorities changed. I know for me as a mom, all my dreams went to my children. And everything became about them. Everything became about their potential. And we were so, after struggling to have children, going through that whole process, suddenly you have this child. And my husband at the time was running one of our schools, and it really was like the second coming. Everybody was so excited that Laura Gauld had a baby. And I remember when we walked out of the hospital, it just hit us. It's like nobody's questioning us. Nobody's saying, wait a minute, do you know what you're doing? And my husband said, I had a harder time yesterday at the DMV getting the license renewed than walking out with a human being. And that's how we felt. And then within 2 weeks, I'm sort of yelling at him that he's not doing it right. So, you go through all of that. You're not changing the diaper right. You're not holding the baby right. We proceeded down that path where you just have all the dreams for your kids. And then for us, and I think sometimes in life, we get hit with challenges that we can't figure out. One of the big challenges we had with our third child, we had 2 daughters, Haley and Scout, and then our third child, a son, came. And before he was 2, he was diagnosed on the autism spectrum. And that was, that was like a kick in the gut. You just think you can figure everything out. You think you raise your children, and it's all going to work out great. And I think that process started us on a different path. It started us on a path to maybe we're going to have to do this thing differently. Maybe we're going to have to get help. Maybe we're going to have to parent in a deeper way. And so that really was the impetus of the book. And usually I don't share that. I don't know why I shared it, but usually I do not talk about that in these workshops. But so we started thinking all these priorities we used to help our son, really, and to help our children. And it became a way for us as a family to grow. So that's how we started writing the book. And there's all kinds of stories from different parents. We're going to talk about some of these priorities this morning. And again, I want to just say, it's not either or, it's not all or nothing. This is really more about trying to help you all get to your deeper parenting instincts. Because there really is no program to parent your kid. There really is no program to bring character into your school. In talking with school leaders yesterday, the head of school, faculty, they're really going about this in a deeper way than just putting a word on the wall, okay, and trying to go at character development and ethical development this is about the adults in the community, parents and teachers, setting an example of how to live your life. Because our kids are watching us all the time. They're really watching us to say, how are you supposed to live this life you're living? And sometimes we're so busy talking to them, we're so busy trying to get them to do the right thing that we forget to live our lives with integrity, with character, with our own purpose and destiny in mind. So, truth over harmony. I'm not saying you walk around and tell everybody the truth, because that doesn't bring a lot of friends, as some of you may figure out. Okay? But is the weight of your foot in telling the truth. Okay? I know maybe for you and my family growing up, my parents used to say, the most important thing in this family is to tell the truth. You know, that's the only time we'll ever spank you, and that, you know, honesty is everything. Okay? So of course, we try to do the same thing with our kids. And I think we're honest people. But definitely as your kids get older, they don't want to tell us the truth, and there are times we don't want to hear the truth. And we don't even realize that. Okay? We want to stay in what I call la-la land. See? As a mother said to me recently, I think he's only smoked pot twice. Okay? I thought, oh boy. All right. We're going to need to have some stay in a la-la land talk with his mother. But again, I know that. I know what it means to get into la-la land. Okay? Especially when you have a child that's achieving. Because, again, even though we want the character, we want the ethics, we were all raised in an achievement culture. And we like achievement, and achievement is important. Okay? We want our kids to go out and achieve. We want them to have a college choice that they're excited about. But you have to decide where's the weight of your foot. Okay? And what is more important. So, truth over harmony, principles over rules. Again, I can remember when the kids were little, I remember one time screaming, okay, no eating in that room either. See, you start watching your kids and your husband, you know, moving away from you and giving them that little look, which is sort of, don't worry, mom's on a roll. You don't really have to listen to that. Okay? But, so I want to do this. When you think about your kids, and you think about the kids in the school, your nephews, your nieces, I want you to think down the road 30, 40, 50 years. What principles, what attributes, what values do you want them to have? Let's throw some out. Compassion. Okay? Compassion. Integrity.
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem.
Self-confidence.
Self-confidence. Accountability. There was another one in there.
Empathy.
Empathy.
Empathy, not apathy.
It's a little early. I was about to write that up. Okay, empathy. Okay, go ahead.
A sense of contribution.
Sense of
Contribution.
Okay, a sense of contribution.
Responsibility.
Responsibility, honesty.
Resilience.
Resilience. Happy. Okay? So we have compassion, integrity, self-esteem, self-confidence, accountability, empathy, to be a contributor, responsibility, honesty, resilience, happy. Anything else?
Contentment. Contentment.
So, again, talking about politics or music, we might have a debate about that, but this is what we want for our children. Okay? So if you take anything home from this morning, if we want this for our kids, we need to be working on this in our lives. And nobody in here can say we got that all down. Right? I mean, I just take honesty. Before I came out here, I had to have a discussion with a colleague. And before that colleague came in, I had a little discussion with myself, which is, all right, how honest am I going to be? You going to be real honest, or are you going to be halfway honest with this person? So I had to make that decision. So these are things that we work on all the time. Okay? And again, as Young said, the greatest impact on children are the unlived lives of adults. Okay? We got to have the courage to live our lives all the way with these things that we value. Whoops. Okay, well. Oh, does that just? Yeah, I need your help. Somebody to ask for help is one of these.
That was all the way honest.
Okay. All right, so. Okay. Oh, now you head over. All right.
Close your eyes, everyone. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
That's okay. All right, so these 5, attitude over aptitude. How do we make attitude everything in the home? Yeah, as a teacher, you can get seduced by attitude. As a parent, I can remember realizing my kids are bright. And my kids are brighter, I think, than that other kid over there. And you can get sucked into that. How do we set high expectations and let go of the outcomes? That's the key to high expectations. And in order to do that, how do we value success and failure? And someone asked me recently, okay, first of all, I'm not a child development expert at all. I'm an educator. But someone asked me, what's the biggest issue that our generation of parents face? And there were 2. We don't get on the same page as parents. Okay? And the big one is I don't think we know how to let our children fail. And I don't know why. I don't know why that's such a big problem for our generation, because our parents allowed us to fail, and that's what made many of you successful in this room, was the powerful lesson of failure. But we've got to learn how to value that with our kids. How do we make obstacles? How do we look at them differently? When as a parent do we step in and do something? When as a parent do we close our mouth and get out of the way? That's a big, big challenge for me. How do we create a character culture? And I think if you could imagine, okay, the youth culture, which is sort of every parent's nightmare, that you could lose a child to the youth culture. And if you think about the youth culture, what are some of the negative aspects of the youth culture? I'm sorry? Sex. What else? Conformity. Materialism. Bullying. Drugs. Alcohol. Okay? That's what our kids are navigating. Even in an incredible place like this. Okay, but the youth culture is everywhere. It's in rural, it's in inner city, it's in suburbs. Okay, so our kids are navigating the youth culture. But then we have what I call the adult culture. Think of some of the words you said. Okay, here's the adult culture at your local supermarket. You're going down with your cart, you're going down the aisle, and you run into an acquaintance or somebody that you know enough to have a conversation. And it's a little like this, okay? Here's the visual. Oh, how's it going? Oh, it's going great. It's going really well. How are the kids? Oh, let's see. Okay, Mary's early decision, and so that's terrific. John's on the travel squad and in the elite, not only the elite travel, but the AAA #1 star travel squad. How's the marriage? Our marriage is real good on the marriage. You know, we're traveling, we're remodeling, we're just you said about the youth culture, the materialism, secrecy, image. Okay? What we want to create is a character culture, and that's what you try to do at this school. So you try to create a character culture where, yes, the adults, I mean, our job is not to, we're not on the same level as the kids, but we're all working on these qualities. We're all working on these principles. Okay? And we want to help our kids navigate what's out there. Because even if you think you're tech savvy and you're up on everything, you don't have a clue. Okay? You don't have a clue. And this generation, they say, has the biggest distance between the youth and the adults. Okay? So how do we create that character culture? Humility to ask for help. See, we don't model that for our kids. I definitely struggled with modeling that for our kids. Okay? And then finally, what do our kids really want from us? What do they really want? Not what they say they want, but what do they really want from us? And I believe that they want to be inspired by us. So let's jump in. Let's sort of talk about what's happening out there. What has changed since we were kids growing up? What has changed? Okay? Obviously technology. We had none of that. So even things like, we were talking about the bully the other day. You know, when I was growing up, it was like, you face that bully. You know, it's like, you go out, you face that bully, because that bully is an insecure person. See, but a lot of times today, the bully has no face. There's not something to go out and say to our kids, go out and face it. Okay, so that's a big change. What else has changed?
Precision with which children are marketed to.
Okay? Our kids are being marketed to. What else?
Media preferences. The media is always so instant and it's all over, you know, everything.
The media, sexualization of our children. Okay? What's happened in the neighborhood? Broken down. Okay, kids inside. I mean, yesterday was a nicer day. Yesterday was the kind of day where probably like your mother, my mother used to say, I don't want to see your face before dinner. Right? Did anybody have that? Yeah. Okay. Like, and we sometimes would even say, well, we don't want to go out. It's like, get out. I don't want to see your face before dinner. There was no cell phone, there was no check-in, there was no where are you going, okay? But the assumption was you're going out and you may get into jams, but you will figure those out. See? And again, today we can't say it. It's a different world. What else has changed? Yes?
The kids are completely scheduled. They're like, you know,
Overscheduled.
and dance budget
Right.
week and whatever.
Who can remember a summer where when you went home the last day of school, you had nothing scheduled till the first day of school in the fall? Raise your hand. Okay. What did we do for 3 months? What did we do? We did stuff. What was it?
We made houses out of boxes.
Yeah, we made houses, we climbed trees, we got into neighborhood battles, we go to the beach, we might go visit, you know, Nana, maybe camp, but we were not scheduled. I think it was David Brooks who said that we were the last generation of unsupervised loitering, because that's really what we did. Right? Okay. Anything else has changed in the neighborhood? Go ahead.
I was going to say that you really knew who your kids' friends were, who they were talking to, communicating.
Oh, yeah, you
And
knew.
that goes back to technology.
Right. You were on top of it, weren't you? Or at least our parents looked like they were on top. But you also had in the neighborhood, everybody could discipline you, right? Like if a dad sent you home, you went home. Because you knew that your mother was going to support that, right? For the most part. I mean, I can remember Malcolm saying, when he grew up in New Hampshire, he would go on a sleepover, and he heard his mother say to the other mother, "You know where his fanny is." Okay? I mean, feel free. If he gets out of line, feel free to take a swat at him. Now, just imagine that being said today. I mean, you'd be arrested. So, and again, this is not about going back to the good old days, okay? Because that's number one, it wasn't all that good. And number two, we can't. But I remember a huge thing that I think back on what was different when I was growing up. I don't remember my parents wanting a relationship with me. Especially my stepfather. They didn't want a relationship. They had their own friends. See, we don't have our own friends now. See, our kids, we want a relationship with our kids. And that gets us really screwed up. Okay? I mean, I also don't remember when we raised our kids in Maine, okay, little rural Maine, but the pressure is the same. I remember when the kids started going through all the basketball teams, and of course, again, we talk about self-esteem. I mean, they had about 30 junky little trophies. They got a trophy every time you turned around. Okay, they had like 30 of them. And my husband at one point said, "You're not that good." just remember that. Even though you have 30 trophies, you're not that good. But we're so into that. See, the self-esteem, we're caught up in, if Mary feels good about herself, she will do good things. When I think the reverse is true. If she does good things, she will feel good about herself. See? But we're not meant to feel good all the time. We're not meant to. Nobody ever worried if we felt good about ourselves. Nobody ever stopped and said, "How is your self-esteem today?" See? So it's like, again, back to that relationship. See, my parents, you know, it's like I suddenly, in our town, I first started going to basketball things, and I thought, wow, the parents are we supposed to go watch the practices too? Because parents were watching the practices. And I was like, whoa, why are we watching the practice? I don't know, is there somewhere added to the practice? Okay? And of course the answer is no, we're not adding anything by watching the practice. The only thing we're doing by watching the practice is we're teaching our child something about life that's not true. Okay, and if you watch practice, I'm not trying to make you feel that. I'm just saying, remember, our kids need to have experiences where they are dealing with people and having to navigate with that coach, okay, or that teacher. See, another thing that's changed is trouble at school meant double trouble at home. Right? And again, my husband, told a story where he was at school. This is public school. And he chewed gum in class, and the teacher washed his mouth out with soap. Now, think about that. That's unbelievable. But he goes home. Now, his mother, who thought that was ridiculous and had an incredible problem with it, but she said to him, "Malcolm, did you know that was the penalty for chewing gum?" And he said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, I have no sympathy for it." It's a ridiculous accountability. But you see, it's like, you're stepping back and something's about to happen here. Okay? Sometimes now, if I have to get into it with a kid, most times, okay, I'm pretty sure that the parents are going to support me. But it's not a slam dunk. I know there will be parents that I will have to spend more time than I'm spending trying to help this kid. I know there will be parents that I have to spend more time trying to get them to let go and back off. Okay? And what I say to parents all the time is, if your kid, if you believe half of Okay? Let your kid figure it out, and then call somebody and say, hey, I might not be getting the facts right, but this is concerning, I just need a little help from me. See? What we don't, see, that's all changed. Our parents did not fight our battles. And as a result, we got that self-esteem. Okay? And remember, self-esteem is critical, but you cannot give a child self-esteem. You can only set up experiences where that self-esteem is developed. Oftentimes through struggle, oftentimes through initial failure. Okay? So remember, what we want, you have a relationship with the child's unique potential. That's your relationship. See, kid, I got a relationship with your best, okay? My relationship is not necessarily to be your friend. And again, I'm a big proponent on that because now my kids are older and I've seen what happens. I wanted that relationship. I wanted to relate to my kids. And that backfired. And so then I realized I need to just go for respect here. And our daughter Scout, who's now a sophomore in college, she was maybe like 11 or 10 or 11. We're shopping at the store for Christmas gifts, and she's buying these gifts that are inappropriate, like a purse in the shape of a woman's body or something. She's at the checkout line, and I say to her, what are you doing? She's like, I'm getting these. And I said, that's not appropriate. Why don't you put that away? Okay, now we're in the checkout line, and she just stops and with that tone, she's like, what planet are you from? And, sometimes we're out of it as parents, but sometimes we're right there in the zone, we have a good line. And I didn't even think. I was like, I'm from the mother planet. So, maybe someday you'll get beamed up to the mother planet, but put it away, I'm not paying for it. And the people in the line were like, yes! So, I have to say, that's on the highs, where you're in the zone. But I can also share times where you're utterly pathetic as a parent. Where our oldest was, she was always a feisty. She still is feisty. But so for her, if you said no, that just meant I haven't worked her down yet. That meant nothing to me. So we're having a birthday party. We're all going, going over to the school pool and having the party. And it isn't even for her, it's for her brother. And she comes out with the mask, okay? And I say, honey, put the mask, we only have one mask, we've got 15 kids. Put the mask away, all right? Well, again, dealing with her, she just was like a world-class terrorist when she was approaching me. So, we're going back and forth, she's making her case, and again, I'm ashamed to say this, but this is what I did. I finally took the mask, flung it at her feet, and go ahead, take it! It's just pathetic. And luckily my sister was there, and she said, do you realize what you're doing? You're writing a book on parenting. What are you doing? I was like, you're right. Oh my gosh. I said, Mahalia, I'm so sorry. I got sucked into your terrorist attitude. I let you off the hook. I'm trying to make it better. Give me the mask. So we have to bring people into our lives who help us when we're pathetic. All right, we're going to do a quick exercise here that I think is going to help talk about getting to that deeper parenting voice, okay? So, again, we want achievement, we want our children to achieve, but all you gotta do is look and see it, cheating statistics, okay? Things that happen when we so push achievement that our kids don't take experiences where they're not sure they're going to be able to do well, okay? What are some of the ways that we are evaluating Okay, our grades, what else? Schooling. Okay, test scores.
Sporting letters.
Sports.
College admission.
College. Our friends. What else? Our stuff. Oh, okay, awards. Yeah, house, appearance, car, okay. Kids. Job. You know, we can get caught sometimes in that our kids are our own trophy cases. So, and I've definitely, you know, I've been in schools where my kids were in the, quote, gifted talents program, which I don't want to offend anyone, but it's got to be the most ridiculous title. You know, what do you, if you're not in that program, what does that mean? But still, you have an ego. And when your child's in the gifted and talented, and you're walking through the school, I mean, you don't have to say that. You know, you can be gracious. You got a child in the gifted and talented. I mean, I got something to that. Even though as an educator, I'm saying, that is really not right. But still, it's like, but my child's gifted and talented. And then I've also walked the halls where I had a child who was out of control. I mean, where I actually saw a teacher do something that I never thought parents got. When the teacher sees the parent at the end of the hall that you don't want to deal with, and you sort of slightly like move. Okay, I have to admit, I've done that a few times in my career where there's just that parent. I saw a teacher do that when I walked into the building. I went, oh my gosh, that's what that looks like to other people. So, okay, our kids, how our kids are doing becomes a big part. So, how do we want to be evaluated in the character culture? We want to be evaluated by the words that you all came up with. Okay, our integrity, our work ethic, our being a giver as opposed to a taker. Okay, so we're going to do a quick exercise where you're going to pair up with somebody, and hopefully it's somebody that you did not come with today. So especially someone that's not in your home with you. Okay, so hopefully you'll meet a friend, and you're going to talk about yourself, and you're not going to talk about anything on this side of the page. Okay, and you can't leave. Okay, one got out. Notice it was a guy. One got out. Okay, you got to give this a try. All right. Now, here's what you can talk about, and I will model it for you. You talk about what you were like when you were a kid, any strengths that you have, anything that you're working on. Anything that you like to do as long as it's not here, okay? And any sort of dreams that you have, a vision for your life. And so if somebody, John, can you time me? I'm going to do it first.
Sure.
Give me about 90 seconds, okay?
What we can do to make this efficient.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Somewhere I got to write out.
Okay. All right, my name's Laura. I am 54 years old. And growing up, I was middle child in our family. So I was very much outdoors, tomboy, outgoing, but also private too. So I was sort of a mix. As a child, major thing, my dad passed away suddenly as a child in a car accident that had a major effect on my life. Let's see, I had a stepfather come into my life 5 years later that also had a major positive impact on my life. Strengths, I think I'm a hard worker. I got that from my stepdad. Care about people, like to laugh. Obstacles, I definitely don't ask for enough help. That's one. Try to do too much. I definitely take on other people's try to do too much. I don't take care of myself enough. Things I like to do, I love to read. I like to walk every day. I love art of all kinds. Vision, I always just wanted to make a difference. I always wanted to, I'm not supposed to talk about other subjects, but yeah, I always wanted, I sort of was raised, you're supposed to do something in your life. Okay, good. All right.